Hello everybody and welcome to Ask the Experts. These are fast-paced 20-minute vendor tutorials that provide you an opportunity to learn about our vendor partners and their offerings. You can ask questions and then visit them at their booths to keep the conversation going. Enjoy your session.
Good morning and welcome. This is Dave Mack and we're happy you're here for day 2 of Virtual XPLOR20. Our presenter this morning is Annemarie Pucher, and she is the CEO at Papyrus Software. Annemarie is going to be talking this morning about conversations across channels, devices, enterprise, and time. I want you to kind of look at the left side of your screen. You'll see a question box there. And as Annemarie wraps up her session, she'll be happy to answer questions. Or certainly you can follow up with Annemarie and the team, at the vendor forum. I also want to encourage you that at the end of the session, there is an evaluation form to fill out, and XPLOR really appreciates the feedback that they'll receive from that. So Annemarie, welcome.
Very pleased to be here today and to have this session with all of you. And it's great, to be able to explain a little bit what we do at Papyrus Software. And people ask me already ahead of time, please tell us what is new. And this is what I will be focusing on and sharing now my presentation with you in terms of my slides. One moment. This should come on. So, one moment. Here we go. Okay, sorry for the second of a wait here, but I guess now you can all see where I am. This is the building I'm currently sitting in. Unfortunately, I couldn't be somewhere else because of the current times. I'm here at our headquarters in Austria, in Vienna. And this is already something that is new at our company. We have a new, very modern business building, development center, headquarters, and which can accommodate up to 450 people. We are proud of it. We just moved in a little more than a year ago. And so we have basically here a big group of people, but in general, we have 4 development centers around Europe. We have 14 locations around the world. And one of the most important ones, of course, Texas, Dallas with our US headquarters, and Singapore, another one in Asia for all our Asian markets. We have been there for a long time and for many years. So what is new? What else is new? We have this year been very successful with our customers, specifically being very open to report, what they do with our software. So if you're interested, you can go to the Gartner website and actually find there 61 very direct, project insights, I would call them, that people have given, how they implemented Papyrus, what they do with Papyrus. And so each one is a very important and interesting story. I thought also that the best way of showing you what we do is to show you some recent implementations, some customers, who are very active with the Papyrus CCM platform, who have implemented fantastic solutions, I have to say, because our customers are quite self-sufficient when they have the setup running, the designer capabilities in place. They can really, like Dow Jones, set up all their different outputs, lots of languages. They started out with Japanese when they started the project. I think today they have more than 30 languages. Diana, who is the really expert there, on everything that is outgoing business correspondence, all their letters, all their invoices, all their statements coming with data, from PeopleSoft. She spoke at our open house this year, which was a virtual conference. And if you're interested interested, you can actually download that that story that she presented, how she's using Papyrus and how successful they are really on a world's perspective, really, where they have millions of and really high amounts also of output via web and email and so on. So it's a real e-delivery and printing environment there as well. But there is not only Dow Jones. Of course, you know Dow Jones. Everybody knows Dow Jones. We have other really interesting projects at other financial institutions here. For example, it was their main interest to, first of all, consolidate. We migrated here, as you can see, StreamServe and Adobe and so on, because they really have a huge number of interactive forms, and they wanted the business to be able to maintain those forms, to create those forms building blocks, to make them intelligent, and without having all the need, for IT. But also they have, of course, batch and online letter writing, and they have a very powerful output management as well that they use a lot actually with the automated document factory, managing everything rule-based and highly sophisticated setups. They are quite nice, I have to say. Another thing is in the US, Medicare, CMS with Rely Group, Rely Group is a really fantastic service company that actually has, a lot of work, I would say, with healthcare at this point in time, and has been there for many years as well. And they partnered up with us, and they use Papyrus for all different types of output that they send out per email. And when an email bounces, it would then basically be sent per fax, and if the fax doesn't work, it would be printed and so on. So they have a very, very powerful and automated way of managing their output, designing it, delivering it. And not only that, because I'm speaking about, conversations over channels, over time, and so on. So really in case management, which is another part of the Papyrus solution, there you have a lot of different correspondence pieces as well that you need to, have at hand when you actually work in a collaborative situation. Other areas are in insurance, definitely, I think worthwhile mentioning. Here there are 4,000 users really every day, creating all their interactive correspondence with their clients, with everyone that has a sales or a service, a claim situation. And they actually are very also automated in a way, because a wizard drives really the composition. And so this is really great for the users, because they don't need to worry about the text elements. They just make a decision, and all the text and the layouts and tables and so on will be automatically assembled and composed for them. All of this today is, of course, in the web, and so they consolidated also their batch and online process in this way. Dexcom is another US-based company, but also operating in Germany and in Canada and in many countries, as you might know. They have very successfully implemented inbound mail automation, supervised training, teaching the machine, coming down from 4 days to 4 hours, in terms of manual processes, and specifically, giving this power to the Salesforce users, because they need to sell their devices really that they have for blood sugar and so on. So they need to be fast, they need to be compliant also with SLAs. And they did a great job, in a worldwide almost implementation for all those thousands and thousands of incoming pieces of PDFs, of scans, of emails as well. Another and the last one, nice implementation is in the energy world here. These people started out with a consolidation, because they really had this problem with Word, having a lot of more complex documents that they found impossible to handle in the way they did, with Microsoft Word. And so they decided for a professional, platform to move the Word documents with our Word converter into Papyrus, and then also as a second phase then moved on with all the batch and online documents they have as well, because they are a big SAP shop, of course. There's lots of invoices and notices and letters and other documentation that they need to handle, and the consolidation gave them really a big benefit forward in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of cost as well. So what do we really do, in a nutshell here from a business perspective? You have, of course, the campaign design, the process design for campaigns, the content design, the delivery of the campaigns, to all the channels, and the feedback loop. So this is a very common approach, because you really want to know what happens, with your campaign, and A/B testing and all of that, very standard. Acquisition stage, contracts and closing orders today, digital signature, very common as an approach, and all of that can be digital today. The complete, from request to closure, we would call this a business value stream here that we can provide with the platform. And care would be the claims handling, claims processing, or a ticket, or incident management, so everything that is in a customer service and in a call center maybe that you want to handle with Papyrus as an omnichannel platform, inbound meets outbound and so on, and retaining, upselling, cross-selling as well, managing everything, and also applications such as purchase to pay or HR onboarding or customer onboarding. For us, this is not so much different, because the platform is generic. So whatever processes you define with our designers, whatever documents you can define, so you can use them wherever you need them. And the capturing, of course, handles the automation for all the incoming requests. So we are talking about an omnichannel hub here. We are speaking about inbound and outbound, real-time and asynchronously. And all the content is archived in our content manager, because Papyrus comes with an archive and can also then later on, give you access, and can go and support the users very much so when they have to work, in an online way or interactive way, and they can really leverage, all the bits and pieces that they need really to handle. Or if you have high volumes, we have customers with over 1 billion pages per year, very, very high production volumes, or especially also now web forms, very common. So all with one engine, all with one system, if it's now interactive forms or composed documents or interactivity in letters, as you see here, where the user can have free text or links or pictures, charts and graphs and much more, especially, when you think of all those dynamically composed business correspondence pieces where you have data, logic, layout, and resources all in one place. And also the design is in one place. Here you see in the library, I have all the building blocks. In the document structure, I use those building blocks as a designer here. And on the left-hand side, I can see that this document will probably go to a printer because it has an address. And if it has an accordion, it goes to the web with the same content. If it has a logo, it has the same content, but it goes out by email. And text is just, native text here that you can output. But the point is, in the business designer, it's very comfortable to do all this, and it's very organized, and it's very easy to administrate. It's easy to update text. You can have all the change and release management included, the versioning included, and it would guide the users, wherever they are. If they are now sitting in the business department or in IT, it doesn't really matter. Something you might want to have a look at. From a design, we come, of course, into a multi-channel delivery. Multi-channel delivery means I have processes, I have orchestration, and I have different ways of working here, either fully automated or maybe also by specific knowledge workers, who have specific needs and process that they need to handle. So what I'm going to show you is now more, CCM related, while in case management, of course, it's a little bit different. But I wanted to give you a little little glimpse, how do I get to such a process? Who defines it, you know? What do I have to do? And what you see here is in the Business Designer, you can today, for example, define as a business administrator, you can define a sign-off and send process. This is just one example here that I want to share with you, because I think it's very relevant, you know, in output management, in campaign management, in many different situations. Now, the business administrator says, well, the first task is I want to review something, or somebody should review, and somebody should sign off a certain document. And I'm going to have a service task here where the document is linked now to this task, and where this task needs to be successful. So this is an executable process. This is not a flowchart. You know, this is the real thing. You don't need to do more than this to really execute what you see here. And then what I wanted to show you in this example as well, that the document, when it's successfully signed off, needs to be also by the customer, maybe signed digitally with a digital signature. And we now include a little rule here where we can say, well, depending on, you know, the situation, depending on the value maybe of a specific contract, you know, we have to have either a notarized signing as an example, or we have just a typical, you know, digital signature by hand, a PDF one that is not needed to be legalized. So once the notarized one, if the amount is greater than, you know, here in this case 12,000. So this is how you would always define rules wherever you are, in document design, in process design, in a case, for example. So the natural language rule editor here is very important and an integral part of this solution. And there we are done now. We have now this option for either the blockchain signature, you know, which is our own technology. We include a hash, you know, with everything we do for documents, for processes, or it's the legalized signature that is maybe DocuSign or any other service that you might want to use. So this is how you would work. This is how you would design a process here. Just a very quick glimpse, and process definitions, of course, as you see them here for the today's topic, print and email and sending out documents is one thing, and the administrator workplace is another thing. Very important that all the jobs are running in a hub. Yeah, so if you are like Dow Jones, they have everything internally, you know, that they manage the operation there, and they have it running all in cloud, you know, it's an Amazon installation there. And so basically the operator, based on their user profile, they can now see these jobs processing. They can see the print. Here you see AFP print, you see print and e-delivery jobs, related jobs, and also the created when and where, what start time and end time and duration, and who is the owner of this job. So what error queue do I have, what went into the error, and also actually the queue I can definitely see. And it's not just a presentation. I can start, I can stop, I can release the error queue, I can instantiate a new printer here, but I have really access to all, you know, types of devices, to all types of output. If it's messaging, if it's emails, if it's documents, it really doesn't matter, as you see on the left hand side here as well. SMS and even anything else that you might want to do via the web and so on. We have here all these options to really manage, you know, your output management and all the queues, jobs, pool queue, print and e-delivery management. So let me summarize. What did we talk about in a nutshell now? We basically support really all data back to COBOL, but of course all the XMLs and the ASCII, NAPSIDIC, and so on and so on. We format the document with the resources. We have building blocks with the business designer. We can actually collect everything in the document pool, also those documents coming from users, any other PDFs that you have somewhere out there. And now comes the point, you know, the power in this post-processing is that now I can actually decide where should this document go? Not at the beginning where the input data is, that's a dead end actually, but now I add a barcode for the printer onto the page. You know, I augment every page, every document. I add maybe more pages if I want to. I add a barcode, I add an OMR code. I don't want any bar or OMR code in the archiving, but maybe copy if I reprint the Word copy on the page. If I go to email, I have a different layout, looks great, you know, and I have maybe for mobile a responsive HTML5 document. I decided at the end, at time of delivery, that's where the biggest benefit is that you can get if you have a powerful platform, you know, not to have to code this into wherever you are in your application or, you know, in the data or outside of such a system. We do it all inside end to end here, the complete life cycle of a message, of a document, of an SMS, whatever it is that you are doing. And if you are looking at it, you know, from a complete communication scenario, you really need to look also at inbound mail. I gave you one example, which was Dexcom, but, you know, at the end of the day, outbound should meet inbound, because if you have a campaign, you have maybe incoming mail, you have incoming events, you have incoming request handling, and you should be able to route all that automatically into an inbox of a user and use the outbound that I just showed you in a nutshell here with all the different options for bundling and delivery and designing, you know, to the different channels. On the other side, you know, have two based platforms and integrate those, right? We are talking here about a single stack of software. Papyrus is not bits and pieces, you know, coming from everywhere. It's really one homogeneous platform in layers. So it is on top of it with the solution frameworks, also an out of the box and very much a kickstart when you use it. And what it does as well, it's already integrated. So you don't need to integrate anything that you see here, but you can still use it, you know, as Lego. You could say, well, I only want to do capture, I only want to do document design and batch, or I only want to do document design and correspondence. So it's very scalable. It's a peer-to-peer architecture. You can have nodes, you know, across all devices, across all users. So it's a very powerful integrated way of working, and it saves you time and cost for sure. The integration into your existing world is absolutely for us no problem. We have done it 1,000 times, you know, in the last 30 years. We are very, very accustomed to do a service-oriented architecture here and support your existing environment the best possible in the best possible form and way, without coding, without locking you into a straitjacket with, you know, hard-coded interfaces here. I'm happy to tell you more about this, but I think today the time is too short for it. But you can always reach me. You can always, my door is always open. Actually, I enjoy most speaking to customers. I have to say that's the best thing of my job. And for today, thank you so much for spending the time with me. And I wish you another great day with XPLOR today. Thank you.
And this is Dave Mack again. If you do have questions, if you want to enter them into the question box, I know that Annemarie would be happy to answer them, or as she said, you know, certainly follow up with you. Okay, well, at this point, there's not questions, but Annemarie, thanks very much for a very informative session. And also, thanks very much to everybody that attended. I also want to encourage you again to fill out the evaluation form. It's very helpful to Annemarie and all the people at XPLOR. So thanks again for attending.
Thank you. Thank you very much.